History Inside a Nutshell, the show where we sail into our port of call discussing maritime history. I won't go into too much detail for today's video, but with the introduction, I am going to hand over to James, who is narrating this week's video, and without further ado, I will leave him to give the introduction.
If you think about a ship that has the shortest story about her, while struggling to find more information on the internet, the SS Cymric would be the steamship a maritime enthusiast would answer. However, if you play detective and click the page on Google to find her, an enthusiast will release that the SS Cymric's history is more exciting than they think. Although she's not as impressive as modern cruise liners or her younger sisters in the Olympic class liners, Titanic, Britannic and Olympic, she's had an active career at sea. She served in 2 wars, saving lives and surviving disasters, before being hit by a German torpedo. This is the fascinating story of the SS Cymric. In the 1890s, the White Star Line was thriving. Customers have begun to travel on their ships, which resulted in a rise of bookings. In response to this change, the company decided to move on from building ships for speed to building new ships to give comfortable and luxurious accommodations and rooms. The company also saw a dramatic change with the death of its managing director, Thomas Ismay. The SS Cymric was to be Thomas's last project before his death. Soon afterwards, his son, Bruce Ismay, took his father's position, and from then until 1913, Ismay would manage the White Star Line. Towards the end of the decade, construction for SS Cymric began, but during this period, the ship had caused contention with the White Star Line and designers at Harland and Wolff. SS Cymric was originally going to be built for livestock and passenger accommodations, but only for first-class passengers. So plans for the ship changed, and instead of storage used for livestock, the compartments were turned into rooms for third-class passengers. When she was launched in October 1897, SS Cymric's length was 178.44 metres, and her gross registered tons was 12,552. She also had small and low-powered machinery, and her top speed were 15 knots. Nonetheless, she was designed to perfection, and during her lifetime, SS Cymric began a popular and profitable ship, which was good news for the White Star Line. She had completed her maiden voyage from Liverpool to New York successfully in 1898, and by 1903 she transferred to sail on the Liverpool to Boston route. In 1899, she made 2 voyages, serving as a troop and cargo transport ship during the Boer War. In 1900, an incident broke out when a fire was discovered in the hold. Somehow the forward hatch had been lifted. When the fire broke out, it was the result of spontaneous combustion. The fire had been difficult to control, but the engineers cut the holes of the hatch through the deck to allow steam and water out. Despite burning for 36 hours, the fire had been controlled and there were no casualties or deaths. A year later, SS Cymric was involved in a collision with another liner, the Carry Prince of the Prince Line. The incident had occurred in the River Mersey when in heavy fog, a strong tide drove Cymric towards the Carry Prince, damaging the Cymric's port quarter deck, and she had a hole in her stern. Luckily, no one was hurt. When World War I had begun, the SS Cymric had been called back to service as a troop ship where she transported soldiers from Britain to the UK to France. In 1915, she delivered 17,000 tons of ammunition from New York to Liverpool. In April 1916, the SS Cymric sailed from New York heading to Liverpool, carrying 112 people with her. On board, SS Cymric had 106 crew members and 6 passengers from the British Consular Service. On the 8th of May, SS Cymric was halfway through her journey when she received a surprise. Although the crew didn't see it coming, Walter Schweiger's U-20 was sailing 140 miles west-northwest off Fastnet Rock in Ireland. During the war, U-20 participated in operations for the British Isles. During her year there, she sank 36 ships, whether they were troop ships or cruise liners carrying important cargo that proved vital to the British, French, Russian, Danish, Spanish and Italian governments and the Portuguese Navy. A year later, U-20 had sunk the Cunard liner, the Lusitania. Her actions had caused a turning point, but before the Americans declared war on the German Empire, U-20 was still in the British Isles waiting for her next victims. Off Fastnet Rock, she had found her next target. With 3 direct hits, U-20 had sunk SS Cymric. Inside the SS Cymric's port side, there was a torpedo explosion. The explosion in the engine room killed 4 crew members. During the sinking of the ship, Chief Steward K.V. Malcolm fell into the sea during the evacuation and drowned. Although the crew believed she was sinking very fast, she sank slowly. SS Cymric took 11 hours and 30 minutes to sink. And a miracle had occurred when it came to receiving help, as the crew sent wireless messages using battery power when the ship's power went. SS Cymric sank on the 9th of May with only 5 souls lost. While her location is known, SS Cymric's wreck is waiting to be discovered. Although she is overlooked and forgotten by history, the SS Cymric is a remarkable ship. Her story is one that probably had more disasters than the RMS Olympic. It's hard to say given the comparison in size. However, she has had some highlights during her nearly 20-year career, doing her duty to the country and bringing third-class passengers to a new world to make a new life in the States. Personally, her story needs to be told for this and future generations. There's hope that one day the wreck will be found, but until then, all we can do is dive deeper and appreciate the ship for who she truly is.
A massive thank you to my friend, actor and content creator James McLoughlin for narrating this week's video. Although he hasn't uploaded any content yet, James has created a YouTube channel where he is planning to talk about autism in the performing arts industry. If you'd like to have a look at his YouTube channel, I will leave a link in the description box down below. And I wish James all the best of luck for his GCSE exams this year. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please subscribe for more historical content. Until next time, this has been History Inside a Nutshell, departing from the docks. Thank you so much for all of your support and enjoy the rest of your voyage.